Yeah.
That'd be amazing. So we got people calling in from Canada, Chicago, California, Texas. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. We've had more people join in. So welcome to our Workflow Live series. This is a recurring series that is all about answering one of the biggest questions we saw accounting firm owners have. And that is, how are other firms building better workflows? So we created this series to actually have real firm owners just like you come in and share their actual workflows and how they're actually doing it and accomplishing their goals. So the goal today is not only for you to learn, see the workflow and learn why they set it up the way they set it up, but also for you to actually walk away with the workflow if you find it valuable. Because one of the things we're ultimately trying to do here is to elevate the accounting industry through better workflows with community. Because we have found when people come together and share ideas, that's where some of the best things are created. So it really is. And so one thing I want to do is I want to ask a favor of everyone here. If you do, in fact, get value out of today's session, I want to encourage you to actually go and share one of your workflows to our community-driven library, just like Malia. And if you haven't heard about our community-driven library, let me show you real quick. I didn't test my screen share, so let's see if this works. Um, Template library, perfect. So this is our template library. And what this is different from a regular template library. This is a template library driven by community, which means we have hundreds of real accounting firm owners sharing their actual workflows, their processes for monthly bookkeeping, for client onboarding, client offboarding, different types of tax returns, anything you can think of. We have hundreds of templates in here already, but this is driven by community. So the goal here, how this works is these firm owners share. So the more you share, the more others will share. And because of that, the more value you will get and the more value everyone will get, because we'll all see different ways to build better workflows for different types of processes and different types of industries. So we can all build better together. So that is our goal here, is if you do get value, I highly encourage you to share your workflows. And I'm going to show you real quick how to actually do that. So if you are interested in sharing, just go to your Financial Sense account. So if you can see, I think it's taken. Okay, so you can see my Financial Sense account. All you have to do is go to your templates, find a template that you think is valuable, or several templates, right? The more you're willing to share, the better. Click Share Template over here, and then you'll see an option here to share it to the template library, and then fill out that information. And then when you share it, we will review it and approve it. So again, if you're willing to share, go to click Share Template over here and share it to the library, because together we can build better templates and workflows through community. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I want to introduce Malia White. She is the managing partner of White and Associates Group. Welcome to the show.
Hello, aloha everybody. As Sharon has shared, my name is Malia White. I have been a partner to White and Associates since its inception in 2011. Moved here from American Samoa, so been in Atlanta for over 10 years now, doing exactly this. Until last year, I have been trying so many and various other systems, including Canopy and Garpin. Um, I found them to be painful, and then actually brought it in house, used the somewhat project management similar to what you would otherwise call the Office 365, their version, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Project management. And although that was the case, it didn't allow. So the restriction there was the your clients, because they're not all of them are actually using O365. So that was a huge restriction for me. And then I get a client calling in probably late 2024, asking me that there has been a lot of work that he sent in, but they're falling through the crack because you know not everybody was paying attention. So this is born, this template is actually born out of that frustration and the failure on my part in my team. And that's why I was, I look at it and I'm like, okay, I think somebody else can use this. And as like Edward Stedman said, a bad system will beat a good person all day long if you don't have your system right. You and I, like everybody here attending, we can think all day that we're great at what we do, but we do not have the system right. No, it's not going to work, right? And so I'm here and I'm happy to share the template that I have. So let's get started there.
Yeah, I want to say I completely agree. Though you need the right systems in place, and that's why we're really excited about like you coming on and sharing, and everyone willing to share because that's you can't fix it if you don't solve the root problem, right? You can apply
Correct.
better, technology. You can throw other things at it, automation, but really it comes down to your systems. And really excited for you to share your process here with us today.
Yes. Okay. So let's get on to it. And I'll add here, guys. I've only been using this system for 3 months. And yet here I am. After onboarding first month, I had the time now because there's already productivity and efficiency. As you can see, the system is very effective to the point it is peak season for us, for all of us, and yet we do have the time to do this when you have your system right. And I had to say, Sharem and your team are awesome. I look at this, the automation was the number one thing that I actually look for when I, you know, start going back looking for system. Um, is everybody else able to see
Yeah,
the
we can see
screen?
your screen. You're good to
Okay,
go.
okay. So I started here. We do have a group of four. So, and there's an admin person basically responsible for scheduling and making sure that everybody's assigned all this. So this template is built out and sent it to, so our admin is handling this, making sure that we do have the capacity to handle the work. But there's a lot also. I think number one thing that I want to point out here, Sharem and your team, is the capability to also integrate the client tasks into here, to the template, right? Because there's a lot of dependencies, and one of the failures between communication last year and between my team and some of our clients were actually here, where they thought they had already sent stuff, and my team, or in the meantime, the team were actually sitting waiting on them.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
So yeah, when I
What
started doing, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what were you using before? You probably were just about to say that. What were you using before to request information before you started using this?
So we do have on we do taxes as well. So we do have Drake text document, the portal,
Mhm.
right? And there's the capability to do chat messages like you already have and uploading stuff. What it doesn't have is actually a deadline, which is what I'm about to share with everybody here, right here. Like under the client task is the number one thing that we're actually going for because there's a lot of dependency and it won't start. The project won't start or won't be able to be started at all until the client actually get to you what you need to start performing. And over here, I always make sure that I give them a deadline, you know, but it has to be reasonable. Some of them request meeting in the beginning of the year, and we'll meet and they'll give us their schedule. Business owners will do that. Um, and if they have an accountant, okay, be reasonable with the time. If the in-house accountant is trying to close and everything else, we'll do March. And then, okay, that's how we already know that some of them has to be extended on their tax return. It's coming from here. It might look like it's one, two, three. Upload your bank statements and your credit card statements and your loan statements, but it's not everything. It's like the summary, the overview. And some of them, they get their email because you're able to send them the email immediately. They get the email and they have a deadline assigned to it. Hey, please get this to us by this date. And I have to share with you guys, it has been tremendous help. last month I started getting. Some of them are like, oh, our deadline is coming up, but we're not even halfway there. Can we please reschedule, or can you give us an extension? Of course, we'll do that. But now it's actually on their end, right? It's in a court. And I think that saves us a lot of time. And the main objective, so to speak, was the accountability. Because, like I said, we already had some type of system in place last year, but communication fell apart. And the fact that you're able to do client tracking here per project, that
Mhm.
is amazing. Like, you just go here, it's one click away from your template. And everything, like, I think I have my team set up to where all the emails are integrated here. I
Yeah.
just use this as, yeah, I just use this as a test from my template today. But the client will, like, you have literally everything that I've been looking for, so to speak, with my team.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's important, right? Like you want everything related to the work on the work. So like what you're talking about, that email, you can like you talked about earlier, one of the biggest reasons things slip through the cracks were because the client communication and the work was happening in two different areas. So like
yes,
important context would be missed. And there's a lot of value in having like, oh wait, there's that conversation with that important context related to the work. So we make sure we do it right. Um, but I also loved what you said, like just putting a due date on the request items has a lot of value in itself, because not only do the clients know, hey, I need to get it done by this date, and they feel more inclined to do it instead of pushing it off, but
right.
also if they know they can't, they're going to be more, you're going to get more visibility, because then they might say, hey, I saw you put this deadline, but I'm not going to be able to get to it for 2 weeks. Can we push it out? Versus you just never knowing because they just felt like they could just do it whenever they wanted. Never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and also the little team chat in there. So they apparently, most of them are learning on their own now to do that, exchange it. Hey, Malia, I'm not able to provide this until, 2 months away. I'm traveling. They send a little chat message to me here, right here. So it's attached to it.
Mhm.
And we love that. So there is clear, and communication is a lot more effective, I have to say.
Yeah.
And yes, number one thing is the automation. And last year, I think there's more clarity into how our time is spent, right? Are we profitable here? Which projects are not? Because you're looking here, there's time tracking. And that's where we gotta know, okay, is it worth pursuing it? Is it not? So we have more clarity into the performance, really. Whereas before, like I said, we're using something that in two different places. And if you are to clock, we were using Clockify. You clock here, but the project is somewhere else. So
So you can't get those insights into like how long is the work taking? Like, is this client
yes,
a potential problem?
yes.
Um, yeah, that's a good point.
And for this is like I think I put something that this is a generic, because not all of my clients are actually following this, right?
Hmm.
Some of them, once the financial is actually reviewed, they want to meet, schedule a meeting. So we'll have to do the meeting and then go over the financial before anything is actually any reviewed financial is going out the door. And the files, once everything, the meeting is over, everybody, approves, the work product is going here.
Yep.
And yes, I mean, it's really hard if anybody is missing anything. It's really let's say if I'm missing something, it's probably because I forgot to do something. The system is there now, and there's no excuse.
If I'm curious, I saw that there are some automations on uh, the actual workflow. So in some of these tasks, do you know what automations you're using? So
Yes.
like,
So thank you for the question, by the way. Let's go back here. Um, I do. So once the client has the capability to also check this when once they start uploading, right?
Mhm.
Some of them actually upload, forgets to check that they've done it. But I go ahead and check it as soon as I can verify that everything is received. And the tag on top right there, the client info received is actually pretty good. That tells us we need to start moving,
You can begin the
right?
work now.
Yes, yes. It kind of alerts us, hey, it's now your turn. So my team moves in and start the work. And each step of the way here, there's some type of, but like I said, this is a generic, like in preparation right now, there's a tag. So we do have like customized tag in there that will help us when we go run the reports and say, hey, which clients actually have we received their stuff? And we run that report, okay, specific who is dealing with all that. So the distribution of the work starts, right? And in most cases, we do not have to because it's already assigned here. It's automated to where somebody's already.
Okay,
Oh,
so you don't have to depend on the team members to change the status because you're using the tags for statuses, and then the
yes,
statuses are triggered automatically as certain milestones or tasks are
yes,
completed work. Okay.
yeah. So and once it comes down to review, once the accountant is done everything else, I get that. So I am
Mhm.
notified it's time for review. And I think my favorite little thing here, there's always a little note somewhere here. Like is, you know, do this and I put a team member or the team member can use and say, hey, Malia, this is done or uh, client requested a meeting before finalizing the financial. And you get notified immediately.
I have a question. Did you have a certain thought process with the subtasks, like how you decided to break them out? Like going very detailed versus little detailed. I don't know if like you took a certain route with that, or you had a certain
Yes.
idea of what you wanted.
So, yeah. So I did this. This came out of it's a big practice, right? It's a medical practice. So it depends on how big the client is for me. I can always customize this, you can scale this upward or downward. And that's the
Mhm.
best part about this. I started this out for a medical practice. Um, uh, I think $10 million in revenue, and they had a lot of bank statements. So, and that's why I kind of had to break it down. And credit card statements. In fact, I think most of their doctors carry, credit cards, corporate credit cards, and then they have the loan statements. And that's
Okay.
why I thought it was necessary to break it down.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we see that like for the bigger clients, a lot of people like to get more detailed on the subtasks, and
Yes,
they'll list out the little so like just those little things aren't forgetting. But it's a good point. It really depends on the client, right? Some
yes,
clients need more detailed work. There's small things you don't want to miss. That's what's great is you can take this template and customize it to each individual client and their needs.
right. And I found out also like from here, like I learned this in one of your show, by the way. I think I attended it back in January, and I saw the presenter was talking about onboarding and proposals, right? So I start now to have like in the files for each client, make sure that this is and also keeping up with the clients. I found it to be very helpful for me when I started out this journey with you guys. And I do also recognize my tax software is not, um, interfacing with yours right now, but I'll
Mhm.
show you one thing. So if I already have some clients there, if, let's say it's a bookkeeping and a tax client, if you're a tax client, you're already having a portal to our website from a long time ago. this is new. So when I have them for bookkeeping here, they don't like to use this portal. They want to keep everything in the same, and I can understand that, right? So what I do, if I have to create a new one here, I do what this is like, by the way, beautiful. And actually, whoever came up with the idea, the fact that you have other system and portal, the availability and or the option itself, that was very thoughtful. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's it's a good point because we see a lot of people use this, right? Some people want the the documents to live in financial sense, but there are some, like when you're requesting them, but there are some clients that they just they're different, right? And
yes,
you
yes,
have to use a certain portal or a certain system. So you they can work together, financial sense and that other portal or that other, like for, let's say you're using Google Drive, right? You
right,
can customize the button to where when they click it, it opens up that Google Drive folder. And then financial sense is more of a delivery system, right? It's the reminder system, like, hey, you need to get this done. And then when they can upload it to FC or another location, which is great. It can work, it can replace or work with your existing systems, which is important. Um, so someone's asking, so how did you link another portal or system? So let's go back. So if you actually click add client tasks and you say
yes,
really request, you will
yes,
see an option to add another right there, and that's where you
right,
can paste in that shareable link.
right. So what I do, like for me, I use Drake documents, and I just bring my link and drop it here, and they get it.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh, so when they will get notified once I do this, and once they click on their email, this will actually get them to the same portal that they've been using, right? And I really love that. And the little comment button right there, they'll let me know, hey, it's done. But it's perfect. Like I
That's
said,
great.
if I do not see how the system can fail at this point with the automation capabilities it carries.
I was gonna say, so someone else dropped this in the chat. So this is it's like your example. You're showing you can use it for like other portals, but it's also great for online forms. So Jolie said they use it for, if you create a Google form or an intake form, or a
Yes,
text form, you can put that in there as well. It works with anything that has a shareable link,
link to it.
realistically. Hmm.
Yes, yeah, it's scalable, and that's I find that I think the number one thing that I find about this the scalability and also the affordability. You
Yep.
can scale up and you can scale down, but it's also still very affordable. And not to mention, you guys are constantly promoting new products or new extensions. That's really cool.
Yeah. um, so I'm not familiar. So I'm actually curious, Malia, do you use Dext?
Sorry.
Do you use Dext by any chance?
Yes.
Someone's asking if you can do this with Dext, and I just don't know enough about Dext. If it has a shareable link, you
Oh, I'm
should be.
sorry. I thought you said tech, but I not see the chat messages.
Hmm.
DEXT, no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Diane, no.
I would say this. If I don't know enough about Dex, if they have a shareable link where you can share a link with the client and the client then can then upload the receipts to it, then yes, you can use this alongside Dex. I just don't know enough. You could also just link to the Dex portal, right, in the client login, so that would work. So again, it's serving us like, hey, you need to upload these receipts by this date and reminding them, and then it's taking them to Dex too. So yes, you could use it with Dex. Um, um, Go ahead.
No, I was just going to emphasize what you already said earlier. Anything that has a link, you can definitely do that. So for mine, instead of going to the text portal that I use, like from Drake Document, I just go to my website because it's already residing there. I just go there and grab the link and drop it there into Financial Sense.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
So I do have another question. Just another advice that someone shared, going back to our comments on the subtasks.
Okay.
So, and we see this. This is a really good point to make. So just when you're adding details, right, to subtasks, I guess realistically, what the problem you're really trying to solve for is if you're going to hire, right,
Hmm.
you want that person to be able to do the work without you being involved to the
Yes.
standard that you yourself could do, or at least close to it, right? No one's going to be perfect and just as good as the owner. Um, but you also want to be careful. You don't want to add too much detail where it becomes overwhelming. And there's like that balance there. And what we've seen work the best is always just to start small and add more details as you see, like, if your team member is coming with you with questions over and over again, the same questions, put it in the template, right? And then detail the subtasks a little bit more. So that's a really good way, like rule of thumb I've seen, is start small. And then as you see questions come and it's pulling you back in the process, add those details and those subtasks and to replace that.
Definitely. Um, and also the frequency, right?
Yeah. And the
You can
frequency.
do monthly, weekly. It's like I said, it's pretty good, scalable. You can do pretty much just anything. And I also noticed that you do have the vault. One of the the little tasks, when you have the, like, just this week, that you mentioned that we have onboarded a new person to help, and like you said, we have to start her small. You know, this can be very overwhelming. So she texted me, "Oh, my time is still." So yesterday, she took off and she texted me this morning. "Oh, by the way, my time is not right on this client because I left without turning off the timer."
Mm-hmm.
So it can be that overwhelming and starting out to expect something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, Malia, I see another question in here. I'm curious if you've done this. Have you ever used the Loom videos
Yes.
in your processes, the document processes?
Yes. So I use this in a different capacity. I used to tackle both IT and accounting. So
Mm-hmm.
IT, yeah, responding, like some of the clients are, you have to almost kind of explain to them, like put together a video. This is, so I remember somebody was using, asking, a client was asking about the pods attacking their website, the traffic, right? And you almost had to put together something, but using Loom, yeah.
Okay. And have you? So I've seen that, right? It's, even on the accounting side, people like explaining the deliverables and
Yes.
like patching it. Like, let's say you customize that button again, right? Like
Yeah.
we talked
Yeah.
about, you put the Loom link and like watch like overview of deliverables. I've
Yeah.
seen that. I'm curious, but have you put it in your process? Like, so like, I've seen a lot of people, like, it's like an SOP, right? They can
Right.
record exactly how they're doing it and then put it in their templates or their
Yeah.
processes. And so the team member can watch a video versus have to read a document. It's easier to create too, right? Because you don't
Yes.
have to type
Yes.
everything out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. No, I have not. To answer your question, I have not tried to integrate it here. Um, but it is something to look forward to. However, I have to say, starting this year, for some reason, everybody just wants to meet face to face. Even training from people that are working with you to your clients. I find that to be very true this year, where everybody just wants to do a face to face. So even when I'm working from home, I have to have some of the people working with us or for us, because I'm like, we can do and watch all this all day long, but we still want the interaction. Okay, come on home.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So is there anything else in this process that you would like to share that you think would be important?
I don't know, but this is more like a brainstorm for the participants today.
Yeah.
I find myself going back to paper trail. Um, so at the end of 2019, right before COVID, we sold our office, right? Completely, by 2020, we completely went virtual. And now we're looking into an office space because of all the requests for face-to-face meeting. And we do understand that also what you're dealing with is actually people's confidential, financial. And they want to
Hmm.
know and put a face to, who's taking care of our financial for us. But what I was going to ask is if anybody else is, has that been the case? Because I think one here I added here is actually um, the client documents. So we do have the paperwork, right? A work paper. And when I go to files, we'll have a work papers here, our internal, because we have an internal work file, and then whatever is presented to the clients or the review goes here, this tab right there. So I'm not sure if what I'm seeing is specific to me or if that has been the case with everybody else this year.
Could you restate the question real quick for us?
Paperless, I guess,
So
because
oh, so you're wondering if you're seeing firms like really truly go paperless. Like if anyone listening here is really truly going paperless, are they still printing documents and handing them around in the office, or
yes,
have they fully made the transition and just adding them to the projects and then keeping it like all paperless inside of Financial Sense?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, drop it in the chat. I don't know if anyone um there's some people in here that are fully paperless. Okay. I'm curious for people that are fully paperless, what are some tips you have to making that jump? Like what's gotten you comfortable uh, to go paperless and to not still have to print everything and have that little safety net? It may take a second for people to write this up. But while people drop in those responses, one question, Malia, is in this workflow, what is probably your favorite thing about it? What is the thing that you think has had the biggest impact with your workflow on the firm?
Okay, I see three things, and I'll just rehash what I already mentioned.
Mhm.
There's accountability for all parties involved, right? My team, myself, and the clients. At the end of the day, there is clear and effective communication along with it, and there's also the productivity. And I shared this with you earlier. I wouldn't be able to do it. It is peak season for everybody's, joining here, and yet here we are because the system allows for me to be able to. Hey, there is productivity, there is efficiency in the system now to where I can actually parse out 30 minutes to come and do something like this or go to a network. It's very important. And I think that's what this allows me to do in my firm and hopefully others too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I love that, and I think my favorite thing, which is like small but like it makes a big impact, is like what you said is like the accountability for the clients. Like just by putting the due
Yes.
date on the client requests, not
Yes.
only does it make them feel like, hey, I need to get this done now, but if they can't, they know they feel inclined to let you know versus you just being in limbo wondering, when is the client going to send me this? I have no idea. And you can just better
Yes.
around that.
Yeah. I tested out myself first. The first time I booked myself as a client test, and I really love, I had to say, when it came through the email, like every step, like the three exactly as you see it here, that's exactly how the client is looking at it with the due date. And then I started getting calls. Sorry, I'm traveling next month. Can we push this? Which is really good. So it allows for open communication and dialogue, I have to say.
Okay, perfect. Um, I love seeing some of the tips in here. Someone said dual monitors. And there's a lot of agreements. Dual monitors definitely helps go paperless.
If you are an
Um,
accountant or bookkeeper, you gotta have two monitors.
minimum. Yeah, I've
Yes,
seen people of like
minimum.
five requirement.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, there's a, is it some people just say depending on the file storage, some people use Smart File, some people use Ignite. That really helps. Some people just say you just got to jump in and do it. Um, Rip the Band-Aid off. Hmm.
That's what I did. And also the import, if there are anybody here who hasn't signed up, please go ahead. I did not hesitate when I found out the onboarding alone. So Garmin actually, that was the setup for me. I walked back from, they have to require you to give them your spreadsheet, and they have to do like sit down with you and hold your hand as they onboard. This whole thing, it didn't take our team a full day.
Wow.
So, yeah, and we've been watching. Whenever you guys put up your videos and training like this, we encourage everybody to go ahead and jump in if you have the time. And like I said, when you have the system, uh, you should have the time, right?
Is there any tips you'd give anyone like going through an onboarding process? Like let's say they want to use Financial Sense. Like because I've had a lot of conversations around this recently. I'm curious what you think is like what's a tip you'd give someone when going through like setting up a practice management system, creating their systems, their workflows. A
Right.
tip like
So
yeah,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Oh, sorry. Yes, I signed up for the trial. That's what I did the first time, right? And when after the thing first 2 hours, I already fell in love with the system because like I said, I've been looking and looking. I
Mm.
went back. I know a little bit about workflow in O365 to where I can, interface everything else with your Outlook. But like I said, it won't allow your clients that are using Gmail and all of the, they have to have a O365 subscription. So I said, okay, no, I'm not doing that. I'm pulling my hair. And then I found this, but most importantly, the fact that you're able to schedule. Do you want to send the reminder today to the client, or can you schedule it today, but have it sent 2 weeks from now, right? And the onboarding alone, it was very easy. Like I said, there was everything was easy to read, and to the left hand side here, the tutorial videos, we followed, everything in there, watch a lot of it, and 2 weeks later, we have a complete system online. You know,
Did did you start small? Like, did you like start small, implement everything, and then make changes as you go, or did you like in terms of let's talk about like the process, like your actual templates and processes. So the workflows, like, did you try to build them all out at once, or did you start small and then build into them as you use the system?
I how I work is very different than probably most. I started out. I was the only client. I set myself as as the client. I test the system, from onboarding to the end with the template as well. And when I will do this interfacing it with the like my Gmail. So that's where I sent all the tests to, and it seemed to be everything I wanted, especially right now. And I see there's a lot of room also for growth in the same system. So after testing everything, I went ahead and said, okay, it's onboarding. In fact, I don't remember. I had to get the permission of my partner. So I look at it and I thought this is ideal. Um, and talk to him about paying. This was after I literally upload our clients list. Then I talked him into making sure that this is the new system. We're going to start learning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, it's super easy, and I know like the little chat box that you guys have here, super helpful. You know, request a feature. I come here when I cannot find my way around. Uh, so I highly recommend that. The messages, it's almost like real time. You get responses. I
Yeah.
feel like it's more, for some reason, this system actually made me feel more homely, I have to say. And I rarely use the word homely, but this one does, right? I think
Yeah.
it's when you find a home for what works for you. This one does it for me in our firm.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. There is a chat I see, Jolie. I'm curious, did that page that Davita shared you, was that helpful? Share with you? Was that what you were looking for when you talked about and a guide on how C could work internally? But we'll wait for that to come through. But I think that's it. Let's wrap this up. So Malia, thank you so much for sharing this template. Again, if you want this template, if you see this is valuable and something you want to implement in your firm, or add it to your account and customize it a little bit to fit your process, you can. Davita's going to drop in a link real quick to this exact template if you want it, but also if you want to get other templates, you can look at our template library, which I'm going to drop a link into. And actually, if you go to this template library and you search for Malia's name, you will be able to find it there. But definitely go check out these templates. And again, if you find this valuable, we recommend you sharing your own workflows. The
Yes.
best way to do this is together, right? Through community. And the industry is so community driven, which is great. I mean, we launched this template library. We already have hundreds of templates in there, over 100 actual firm owners sharing their workflows. But the more we share, the more others will share. And the goal here is to build the best template library for the accounting industry, the go-to template library to give people ideas, inspiration on how to build better workflows, how to increase productivity, profitability. And that all starts with all of you. So if you found value today, if you want to build better workflows, go to the template library, check it out. We recommend you go to your financial sense, your templates, share one of those or multiple, right? The more the merrier. But thank all of you for being here today. And Malia, thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you
Um,
all. Thank you, Sharon and Davida.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you later.